how
me see.
much I hate black women and how I have specifically just targeted you in our company to make sure that you are devalued and never mind. I'm gonna chill.
When asked if he was deleting old tweets, he gaslighted and accused a woman of being racist.
Why were you hiding your tweet?
Hide what tweet?
Oh, now you don't know. Rocky, I said
Hey,
you.
yo, dog, I got a question for you right
It's
quick,
literally
bro.
right here.
You know, blue weave is not blue ivy. That's racist as fuck.
Rory.
When asked if he would retweet any of those things again, he said this.
Which ones?
Any of
Which ones?
I said
the ones
Four.
that everybody's offended by.
What's up, good people? Welcome back. Hope y'all out there getting paid. PAYD, perpetually achieving your dreams. Also becoming a passionate, ambitious, young dreamer. And yes, man, even when we have allies or so-called allies or people that we assume to be an ally, you gotta keep your eye on them, you know what I mean? Because even at the cookout, you gotta watch that guy who only brought the plastic cups. Anyway, we gotta watch this video from Justin Hunt titled, Rory Tried to Explain. It only made things worse. So without further ado, my man.
I was today years old when I found out that Rory from the Rory and Maul podcast was a nupe, an illustrious member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, one of the Divine Nine black fraternities and sororities in America, the same fraternity that I'm a member of, Nu Chi Spring 2000. 1 second applause. Now, there's 300,000 or so Kappas across the country, so not knowing someone is a member isn't a rare occurrence by any.
That's wild that he's a, like, they allow, like, that's wild. Is it? I'm not even familiar with Rory like that. But dang, how did he pull that one off?
Means I meet new noobs all the time. But considering Rory's had a high profile in hip hop and the music industry and in the podcast space for the past decade plus, all spaces that I'm a part of, I was shocked to find out that Rory was a noob too. And not because he's white either. Contrary to perception, there are white members of all 9 black fraternities and sororities nationwide.
Really?
Here's a clip of a white Q. No telling what he went through. No, it wasn't because of Rory's race. I was shocked because I learned this while watching his craptastic performance on a Twitter space Wednesday night when he was confronted by nearly 1,000, mostly black people offended by a gaggle of awful looking, racially charged, arguably anti-black, and definitely anti-Beyonce tweets he posted on Twitter over a decade ago that had surfaced online earlier that day. Here's how we got here. A clip of Rory, Ma, and Damaris on their podcast talking about whether they thought Clips or Kendrick should win Rap Album of the Year at the Grammys made its rounds. The fan base wars are in full swing, and the commentary made Kendrick fans feel like the pod wanted GNX to lose more than they wanted Clips to win. Here's a clip.
GNX is going to sweep, and it's going to piss me off because the Clips deserves to win, and that's not Kendrick
just
Lamar
opened
hate.
his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now.
Jamal.
Where's your
Jamal?
I'm just saying the boy is prophetic. That's all I'm saying.
He's a Grammy darling. That goes without saying.
To keep it brief, the conversation spilled over quickly. Damaris was accused of saying she hated Kendrick. She denied it, then quickly admitted defeat when she was caught in 4K saying this.
I've said on every platform possible, I hate the way Kendrick Lamar raps. I hate the sound of his fucking voice.
Same. I hate his voice.
I hate his voice, and I will not listen to him again simply because I hate the sound of his voice.
And Rory, in his Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm style sarcasm, made comments like, wait, so you saying you want the Clips to win a Grammy is considered hating? And some of us just enjoy the music we like and don't make our identity a fan base. Crazy theory, I know. Perhaps there's more, maybe I missed it, but the next thing I knew, my timeline was flooded with old tweets and posts from Rory, seemingly from Rory, saying and retweeting things like this. I never saw a good-looking black woman. And this reason, how you a slim, tender yellow bone, but your mom's a fat tar baby? Nah, B, some don't add up.
Nah, but why is it always? That's why, bro, you gotta really, like, people can come in, they can learn the culture, they can learn the lingo, they can listen to the music, they can watch the movies. But don't, like, man, you really have to really keep your eye out on people who really don't look like you, because, bro, you just never know who's gonna bring hatred. Man, this guy right here, I never saw a good-looking black woman. but yet he probably went to a majority black school and then he joined a black fraternity. Like, come on, man.
I want no parts. And there wasn't a comb on the video set for Blue Ivy's hair. Now I have a
Bro, this dude has no business talking about black people's appearance. Nobody is entitled to that, especially not a white person, bro. That's just something that you just do not do. And the fact that he went to college and joined a fraternity, bro, it seems like he would understand these things, right? From a young age. Like, you can't really use the young and ignorant excuse. Like, dude, you're a noob. It's wild.
few personal defaults that I just expect out of people and online discourse. And one of those is that I'm never shocked when a white person's old racially charged posts resurface on the internet. Now I've been in
Yeah, I'm not shocked either. It's just like, bro, it's just over and over again, bro. And it's just the fact that we allow people into the culture that ain't really for us, bro. They come in, they make a name, they make some money, and that's it.
plenty of spaces throughout my life where I was the only black person or one of few black people. And through my experience, white people will get as comfortable as you allow them to be. And all of them at some point push the line to see what you will let them get away with. It's not always malicious, oftentimes it's ignorance, but that train is always on time. So when old tweets resurface like what's happening right now with Rory's, when these things happen, particularly at that point in internet history in the early teens when social media rewarded people for saying the most rude and crude and racist things imaginable, for me, it's expected. And when these things flare up, for me, at that point, it's all about how you handle it, how you take accountability, how you attempt to make amends, especially when your career includes being a part of black spaces. The easiest thing for anyone to do when they've offended someone or if they've upset a community for one reason or another is to give a sincere, succinct apology and take accountability for the impact your actions had on others and move forward.
Correct.
It's so simple. Sincere,
But what did he
succinct
do?
Accountability.
Let's see what.
But Rory didn't do that.
Okay.
Instead, he jumped into Rocky's Twitter space, which was about Kendrick and clips. He hijacked someone else's Twitter space and spent hours, perhaps unintentionally, antagonizing a population of people hurt by what they just discovered about his Twitter history. When asked if he meant the things he said about black women and Beyonce, he snickered and offered sarcasm.
How
Let me see.
much I hate black women and how I have specifically just targeted you in our company to make sure that you are devalued and never mind. I'm gonna chill.
When asked if he was deleting old tweets, he gaslighted and accused a woman of being racist.
Why were you hiding your tweets?
Hide what tweet?
Oh, now you don't know. Rocky, I sent
Hey,
you. I
yo,
sent
dog,
you.
I got a question for you right
It's
quick,
literally
Rory.
right here.
You know blue weave is not blue ivy. That's racist as fuck.
Rory.
When asked if he would retweet any of those things again, he said this.
Which ones?
Any of them.
Which ones?
I said
The ones
Four.
that everybody's offended by.
one or two I've said I've joked about on the podcast already. I've definitely talked about the Beyonce thing on the podcast before.
See how he fucked it up.
But she's asking you.
Bro, whenever this whole joking around thing, bro, whenever you start joking around with things that people can't control, and then especially things that people can't control, and those things have been used against against a person or a group of people to keep them in a lower status in a society or just in life in general, and you're joking about it and you don't offer some sort of apology and recognize that your words are perpetuating a long line of trauma. Like, how do you, bro? Like, that's what I'm saying. You just can't you can't expect somebody who's not of the culture, who didn't come from the culture, to understand that line of logic unless they've done the reading, they've done the research, they've done just looking at the videos, right? Of people, basically spelling it out. You know what I mean? This is something that is problematic and detrimental. You know what I mean? But just offering a simple apology, saying, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I was ignorant. I'll make sure to go do my research. And, if you really want to stay in this space and then in within this culture, you have to do you have to do your due diligence, man. You can't just be here and just expect, oh, because I'm white, I just have to, be surface level. We're gonna love me. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Today, Rory, today, not 7 years ago. Today.
Rory, you gotta have better answers. Come on, bro.
Jesus Christ.
The spaces went on for hours, pretty much just like this, but that's a sample. Now, I don't have a relationship with Rory, full disclosure, and truthfully, I'm not a consistent watcher of Rory and Mal, nor was I consistently watching when they were on the Joe Budden podcast. Most of my interactions with their content is through clips. And with that said, I wouldn't say I've ever taken anything that I've seen from him previously as racist or even really culturally offensive. From my point of view, he's done solid work on multiple fronts and advocated for a range of under-discussed artists and for hip-hop culture as a whole in a respectable manner. But I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on his work. That's why I was shocked to find out we were both members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I don't know what I expected to hear when I went into that Twitter Spaces Wednesday night, but what I do know is the way that Rory sounded in that Twitter space, the way he conducted himself, felt like the way those controversial old racially charged tweets read. He looked like someone who would say those things, who espoused the opposite of the values of the fraternity he represents. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and the other 8 members of the Divine Nine are modern miracles in America. These are some of the oldest, the most consequential Black institutions in this nation's history. They're founded at the turn of the 19th century, at the dawn of the Jim Crow era, when Black codes once again reduced Black Americans to second-class citizens. Each of our institutions champion community and leadership and education and political activism and cultural expression during eras of segregation and limited campus access. Sincerely, they're crucial pillars of Black culture, of civil rights history, and achievement in every field of human endeavor. And to go through that hellish process to become a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and then down the line, try to tell a Black woman she's racist in a public Twitter space because she's calling you out over old racially charged posts that you made, whether sarcastic or otherwise, it's crazy. And
it's like a script. You know what I'm saying? They say something inflammatory, they get called out for it, then they play the victim. Why is it like that? What is up with that? Is that somewhere online that I can read? You know what I'm saying? Is that a script? I gotta, come on.
Especially crazy to hear from a nupe. It was way past fan base wars at that point. There were nearly 1,000 people listening. And regardless of any of our work and contributions to media and music and culture, we can't expect people to know who we are, our intentions, and our origin stories. Anti-Blackness in all forms, in my opinion, should be expensive, costly. So I'm not mad at anyone offended by what happened with Rory this week, because people will only take things as seriously as we take them. We have to set the line. We set the standard. I said the same in my video about Tyler, the Creator. From where I'm sitting, it seems like a large portion of his life has been steeped in Black culture and Black spaces. And I'd like to think Rory isn't a racist. And I'd really like to think there isn't a chapter somewhere who is ushering races across the burning sands. Please. I mean, not even just with Rory, just in general. Please, nupe chapters nationwide, let's be discerning. But if I had to make a bet, I wouldn't say Rory is racist at all. If I had to make a bet. We operate off the information we're given.
I agree. I don't want to say he's racist, but definitely ignorant. And then he was kind of pushed into a corner, and sometimes you don't want to bitch out, so to speak. But still, man, it's not a good look, bro. It's not a good look.
And Rory unfortunately gave nearly 1,000 people in that Twitter spaces that night, 1,000 people, reason to believe the tweets he was trying to deflect from were actually representative of his character, of his podcast, and of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And as a nupe, as a fellow nupe, that can't be how we carry the shield. It's all happening.
Yeah, man. So that's the video, man. Just when people who aren't of a culture, they come in, and I can't even really, because I'm not even really familiar with the guy, man, with Rory. But it just seems as if whenever somebody is a transient within the culture, they can straddle the sides, and you just never know when they're gonna flip flop and when it can be detrimental to you, right? And of course, like people who grow up in multicultural aspects, it's okay, right? I mean, we can appreciate other people's culture. We can, you know what I'm saying? It's not something that we gotta gatekeep from other people, right? But whenever you come in and you make a name off of someone else's culture, get money off of somebody else's culture, thrive in somebody else's culture, and then turn around and talk junk about that culture to someone else, it doesn't look good. And then the fact that you don't want to give an apology, you know what I'm saying? Just, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I was ignorant. I wasn't fully understanding. Yes, I thought it was a joke, but I didn't recognize that this was something that was coming from a place of trauma. You know what I mean? Like just something, right? And it just doesn't look good, bro. But anyway, hope y'all out there getting paid. PAYD, perpetually achieving your dreams. Also becoming a passionate, ambitious young dreamer. Peace.